I got another request from one of you guys, and it's no surprise that blue seems to be the it color for 2024 because a lot of you have been requesting them. We recently did a video on Jubilee by Sherwin-Williams. We also need to check out Stardew, which is a similar color but has some key differences that I'm going to lay out in today's video. But not only that, James the color guy is going to give you some color pairings for Stardew so you can use it properly on your next project. Let's get into it. So to start things off, this is one of those mid-tone desaturated blues, and it has a 43 LRV, which means it reflects 43% of the light that hits it. This is a scale from 0 to 100 that you can sort of envision as a lightness scale. Higher that number, the lighter the color is going to look in your home. 43 is a darker mid-tone color, which makes it pretty noticeable, very saturated, but not too dark in a lot of situations. And it's not going to feel too light either, especially compared to those lighter off-whites that are really popular that can sometimes get completely washed out with enough lighting surrounding them. So that gives you an idea of Stardew's strength as a color. It's noticeable in its depth, but it's not the most vibrant color on the market either. It has a muted, dusty, grayed out quality to it, and it's been featured in plenty of different color collections by Sherwin-Williams, most notably the 2024 Color Mix Forecast, so it's a pretty current color as well. Very hip choice. Now, I did mention that Stardew has some similarities to Jubilee, which is another color we talked about, although the key difference here is Stardew is technically a touch darker, but more importantly, it has this very subtle green undertone, and it can be hard to see depending on your screen that you're watching this on, but there is that distinct touch of teal that's hiding in the background with Stardew, while Jubilee is very much a true blue, maybe even veering towards the periwinkle purple side of things. So this one gives you just a touch more of an aquatic feel, but honestly, it's a pretty subtle difference. And if you use them in two different rooms side by side, you may have some difficulty distinguishing one from the other. Personally, I like the fact that Stardew has that touch of green because it gives it a little more energy, in my opinion. It just feels a little more complementary to a lot of the natural materials that are being used in modern day furniture. We're going back to just that semi-rustic sort of feel with woods and just natural tones, organic textures, and I love a bit of green to activate that. Now, what about trim color options? If you wanted to paint your baseboards, your doors, and your frames, what should you use in conjunction with Stardew? Well, one choice would be Extra White, which is a classic Sherwin-Williams white. It is very, very crisp, bright, and also pretty clean looking. So it's going to be a no-nonsense choice for a lot of you. Now, if you wanted something darker and maybe a little more dramatic within that blue family, Charcoal Blue would be my choice if you wanted a dark trim or door option for the inside of your home. Charcoal Blue is what the name suggests. It looks like charcoal if it was blued out. So kind of this like really shaded, deep dark navy. It is extremely moody. It has a 6 LRV, which is very, very dark, but the benefit of that is it's going to be a nice amount of contrast because of how dark it is next to your mid-tone walls. So for color pairings, I wanted to start with something warmer and light and uplifting. The name isn't as positive as the color itself, in my opinion. It's called Aged White, which sort of makes it feel like it's a tired color, but it's great. It's an uplifting, yellow undertoned cream. It has this beautiful canvas color that I really enjoy. So it's very neutral for the main areas of your home if you want something really crisp and bright without feeling overpowering. It has this just soft texture that I really enjoy that can do a great job at connecting all your spaces, whether you're going for something more blue or something a little more, I guess we'll wait and see until the next color pairing. But I feel creams like this that aren't too creamy, that aren't too buttery, they have this timeless appeal to them because it has the old world warmth that we really enjoy of maybe those old white oil-based paints that have yellowed a little bit in time, but not to an unpleasant degree. It's just very subtle and just clean and soft. The second color pairing is Acacia Haze, and this has a lot of similarities to a former color of the year by Sherwin-Williams called Evergreen Fog, but this one, on the other hand, has that grayed out sort of shaded green mixed with a little bit of blue. So it's a nudge closer to Stardew because, of course, Stardew has that blue quality with a touch of green. This is kind of the opposite. So it's a bit darker and a lot more green forward while still being within that understated cooler color family. And if you're not sure whether you want your color palette to be more cool or warm dominant, that's okay, because you can customize how much of each color you use. So if you lean more into Stardew and Acacia Haze, then you can really double down on that cooler sort of contemporary aspect. Or if you want something a little more positive, uplifting, light, airy, minimalist, then Aged White can be the main color, and then Acacia Haze can be more supporting. And then Rose Tan, which is the third color pairing, could also support that warmth while bringing in that interesting hue of orange. But it has that rose gold quality, almost like a nice, beautiful copper that I really enjoy. And it's also harkening back to the colors of the year trend from last year, all those clay-based colors, reds, terracottas, oranges. So it's connecting the dots between all these new trendy colors that are coming into popularity. But I think that's cool because it's showing us that we don't have to forget about these trendy colors. We can actually embrace them and incorporate them just over the years in different ways. So Rose Tan kind of becomes the accent here because it's so different from everything else in the palette. Speaking of the palette, here it is all together. Let me know what you think. We have more videos right over here.